Yes.
Well, thanks everybody for being here with us today. We again are focused on the extent to which we can now get back to work doing the business of the American people. We hope that our colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle will do that as well, now that we've seen that there clearly was no collusion. Now that we've seen that it really is time for us to get back focused on substance. And we also, we do want to wish Speaker Pelosi a happy birthday and hope that she uses this opportunity to get back to doing the work that people sent us here to do, which is to continue the kind of economic growth this president has provided, make sure that we continue to keep the nation safe, and really move on and help continue the getting the nation on the path that it's been on and keeping the progress going. We want to talk just a little bit this morning. We've brought the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Ratcliffe, is here joining us to talk about some of the details of what we know now about the Mueller report. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Ratcliffe.
Chairwoman, good morning. For the past few months, there has been considerable speculation as to whether Special Counsel Mueller would be issuing further indictments. Some have predicted and even promised that he would be. On Sunday, Attorney General Barr issued a summary of the Special Counsel's findings, which in a sense proved some of those folks to be correct. Because while it may not be a literal one, the Special Counsel did issue one clear indictment. It's an indictment of those folks who accused the president of conspiring or colluding with Russia, who said that they had evidence of the president's crime when, as we all now know, the Special Counsel said that could not possibly be true, because he didn't just find insufficient evidence of collusion or conspiracy, he said there was no evidence. Not limited by time, not limited by expense, not limited by resources, with the assistance of 19 federal prosecutors and 40 federal FBI agents, the Special Counsel said there is no evidence of a Trump-Russia collusion conspiracy, which is a clear indictment of those who say they have evidence of such collusion or conspiracy. So the irony of the Special Counsel's findings, as reflected in Attorney General Barr's summary, is that what Vladimir Putin could not accomplish on his own through clear efforts to meddle in our election, he still was able to accomplish much success as a result of those people who peddled a false Trump-Russia collusion narrative, telling Americans that they had evidence of it when, in fact, they did not. They helped Putin consume the public discourse for 2 years about a false story that they claimed was true, and in so doing, gave Vladimir Putin the kind of success he could not possibly have imagined. Unfortunately, some of those very same folks, some here on Capitol Hill, instead of accepting Bob Mueller's findings, want to set them aside now and continue their own investigation. For those folks, protect Bob Mueller has now become to hell with Bob Mueller. The deification of Bob Mueller is quickly becoming the vilification of Bob Mueller. Now, the Republican position is unified. We need to move on. Again, if 19 federal prosecutors, 40 FBI agents working 18 hours a day for the last 2 years couldn't find any crimes to charge Donald Trump with, House chairman and a few House staffers shouldn't be wasting our time looking for them. I want to be real clear about this. The Special Counsel looking for how Russia meddled in our election was not a witch hunt. But when it comes to investigating Donald Trump further for crimes, Bob Mueller didn't charge any crimes. Bob Mueller says there are no witches. So Democratic efforts to continue these investigations would in fact be a political witch hunt for no other reason than for political gain. So I want to close by anticipating your first question, the full release of the Mueller report. Republicans are united in our position that we do want the full release of the report as allowed by law. That's the same position that the Attorney General is taking. The law, however, does not allow for the release of classified information. The law does not allow for the release of grand jury testimony. So to be clear, Democrats who yesterday and today are calling for a full report to be released immediately without those considerations are in fact asking the Attorney General of the United States to violate the law. And if he did so, I submit to you they would be the very first ones to accuse him of violating the law. I'd like to now turn it over to Whip Scalise.
Thank you. Appreciate the leadership. I'm glad that the Mueller investigation is finally over, and he found what we found a long time ago. There was never any collusion between Trump or the Trump campaign and Russia. In fact, we again found that a long time ago. There was over $20 million of taxpayer money that was spent on this investigation, and it completely vindicates President Trump. And let's be clear, when you look at some of the wild and baseless accusations that were made over the last 2 years by leading Democrats here in Congress, including Adam Schiff, Chairman Schiff, who said there was more than circumstantial evidence that there was collusion. Today's a day about accountability to those people who made those reckless claims, who not only made those claims against the president, but continue. They can't give it up. They continue to want to harass the president and his family. Enough is enough. The American people are disgusted with this abuse of power and with this continued pursuit of attacking the president and his family, regardless of where the facts lead. It's the opposite of what any kind of investigation should be about. There was a clear investigation, a long investigation, a thorough investigation, and it found no collusion, as we knew all along. It's time for those folks that are upset with the result of the 2016 election to stop abusing their positions of power to try to go after the president and his family just because they don't like the fact that he won the election. So as we now move on to the next chapter, there are a lot of other things that we're focused on. We continue to be focused on getting this economy back on track. I'll be leading a group of our whip team over to the White House today to meet with the president about USMCA and getting that agreement in place so that we can have a better deal with Mexico and Canada, with our neighbors from the north and south, so that the new NAFTA, USMCA, can actually deliver even more results for working families in America. That's something we're working hard on. On Tuesday, I'll be filing a discharge petition, next Tuesday, be filing a discharge petition to bring Ann Wagner's bill, the Born Alive Act, to the House floor for a vote. I encourage every member who supports innocent life to sign that discharge petition. Let's be clear about it. Right now, probably around half the states have no protection for babies who are born alive outside the womb. And in fact, there are some states, like New York, and you heard in Virginia where they're trying to make it legal to murder a baby after it's born alive. That's outrageous. And yet in many states, it's still legal. And so we have a bill, the Born Alive Act, to protect innocent life. And if a baby is born alive outside of the womb, that baby should have full protection under law. So we'll be bringing that discharge petition next Tuesday to the House floor. Now I bring up our Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy.
Thank you, Steve. I want to thank Congressman Radcliffe for being here. For those of you who may not know, Mr. Radcliffe was a U.S. attorney. He's the only member of Congress that's ever in his work and job has actually filled out a FISA application in the process of the work that he had done. Sunday was a very good day for America. Regardless of where you stand politically, it's a moment in time that we got the answer to the question. It was a very clear answer, no collusion. It is a moment in time that America can now move forward. But as we move forward in this new chapter, we should learn from this moment. For those who misled the American public, for those who said for more than 2 years that there is circumstantial evidence of collusion, owe America an apology. They owe this country an apology. to mislead us, to lead us down a path, to withhold our ability to solve problems that were before the American public. And now it's a moment of time for the Democrats to turn a page. Not to waste their majority, as they have for the time that they've been in. To focus on the issues that the American public care most about. From the economy to what Whip Scalise talked about, a trade provision that we need to put onto the floor and pass, to our ability to continue to work together. Today is Nancy Pelosi's birthday. I wish the Speaker a happy birthday. The wish I hope she makes today is that she will turn a page. That she will also take a moment within her own conference. Because when it comes to the Intel Committee, those are selected by the Speaker and the leader on the Republican side. To bring the confidence back to the Intel Committee. You cannot have a chair of a committee that misled the American public, misled their conference, in a moment that we now have an answer. It is a time to turn the page and let America trust the committee again. With that, I'll take your questions.
Do you think the president is owed an apology, and if so, from whom?
I think he's owed an apology from every individual that stood there and said they had proof. If they said they knew of collusion, if they said and went on the American public and misled that took us down this path, that we spent 22 months, $25 million, 40 FBI agents, 19 attorneys, went to 13 foreign countries, 2,800 subpoenas, 500 witnesses, and no collusion. I do believe he's owed an apology from anyone that put their politics of dislike before the American public. Look, I understand a disagreement with each other when it comes to philosophical positions, but to go so far just because you're upset that somebody else won a presidency, yes, you owe him an apology. Yes, ma'am.
Do you want the Attorney General to appoint a second special counsel to investigate the DOJ and the FBI and their role in the Russia investigation?
I believe we have an FBI and others, institutions that we always looked up to. A few bad apples can destroy a reputation. You want to make sure I have a great deal of trust in the Attorney General Barr that will continue forward and make sure to solve any problems that still lie out there. Yes, sir.
It appears that Attorney General Barr will come to Congress and testify on his summary. Do you believe that the special counsel, Robert Mueller, also should come to Congress and testify on his report?
I do believe Attorney General Barr needs to come here and testify, just like he said he would. I leave that up to Mueller if he wants to come. I have no problem with him coming. I think more transparency is great.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
On shifting gears a little bit, on a separate Justice Department issue, they filed a brief last night with the Fifth Circuit calling for the entire ACA to be struck down. I think that's a shift in position. Before they had called for parts of it, most of it, but not all of it. Do you support the new position?
I haven't read through what they, because it's just last night, just call the office and we'll follow back to you. But I think the president has always been very clear that he wanted to repeal Obamacare and put a system in that actually lowers the cost, protects individuals' pre-existing conditions, and have a healthcare system that works, that has a relationship between the patient and the doctor, not with an insurance or with a government. Thank you very much.
I got that cast 1,000 in the question.